Good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday. We are so close to the end of the year, so I need everybody to just keep pushing through the work the way that they have been. You've all been doing a great job. Today, for language arts, we are going to keep it nice and simple. We are going to first, you're going to spend time going through this study guide that I have given you, and then we are actually going to play Quizlet Live. So that's going to be our main lesson today, is making sure you are on Hangouts, and we are going to do a few rounds to review for our book test. So I've made the cards here. There's 20. We're going to play individual live like we did for our social studies terms. So I'm going to walk through this study guide with you real quick. I'm also going to show you a quick preview of what the test looks like so you're prepared. Again, before we get on Hangouts today, you are supposed to be looking through this study guide. And then when we get onto Hangouts, we're going to play Quizlet to review for our test. The test is going to be on Thursday. All right. So Mr. Terupt is the new teacher at Snow Hill School. He builds relationships with his positive and honest teaching style. He assigns them many fun projects such as the dollar word project, which is how we know that Terupt is a dollar word. For their class reward, Mr. Terupt agrees to take the kids outside to play in the snow. This is when the accident happens and he is hit in the head with a snowball thrown by Peter and falls into a coma. While Mr. Terupt is in the hospital, we learn that he doesn't really have any pictures of his family members on his desk, and there are no family members that show up at the hospital. We also learn that he suffered many injuries while he was wrestling when he was younger, and this made his brain injury worse. When Mr. Terupt wakes up, he teaches his students one more lesson: to forgive. He then shares the news that he will remain their teacher next school year. All right, Jessica. Jessica is the new girl at Snow Hill School. She moved from California to Connecticut because her father left her and her mother for his new girlfriend. Jessica loves to read, and she always tries to do the right thing. She learns quickly that Alexia is trying to start a girl war, so she steers clear and holds on to her friendship with Danielle and Anna. Jessica and Anna relate to each other because they both do not have their fathers in their lives. Jessica feels guilty about the accident because she is one of the girls who went and pushed Peter over. Anna. Anna is the shy one in this book. She often prefers to have no attention on her, but Mr. Terupt changed that and she was grateful for him. Her first outburst over the plant surprised her classmates. She steered clear of Alexia when she was trying to start the girl war, but also held onto her friendship with Jessica and Danielle. Yikes. Anna's mother had her when she was 16 years old, and because of that, Danielle's family thought negatively of her. We learn that Anna's mother went to school with Danielle's brother, Charlie. Anna also feels guilty over the accident because she is also one of the girls that helped push Peter over. Danielle. One of the first things we learn about Danielle is that she lives on a farm. We also know that Danielle prays often, sometimes alone and sometimes with her grandmother. Danielle starts the story as a pushover who does whatever Alexia says, even when Alexia is making fun of her. Eventually, Danielle stands up for herself and chooses to have a friendship with Jessica and Anna instead of Alexia. She feels guilty about the accident because she is one of the girls who pushed Peter over. All right, Alexia. I apologize if you can hear the ice cream man. Apparently, he's running through my neighborhood right now. Alexia is considered the mean girl at the start of the story and often started girl wars. Wow, I have a hard time saying that. Alexia consistently tears her classmates down by being the bully until Mr. Terupt steps in and tells her that she needs to work on being a nicer person. Slowly, Alexia changed and kept to herself. She apologized to Danielle, Anna, and Jessica in the hospital, and she became more understanding of others. She also felt guilty over the accident. Jeffrey. Jeffrey starts off the story as a slacker and doesn't see any point in trying at school. Mr. Terupt taught him to try, especially when he stood up for his dollar word poster against the fire marshal. We learn that Jeffrey's brother, Michael, passed away from leukemia, and because of this, Jeffrey's relationship with his parents is difficult. Mr. Terupt's accident taught Jeffrey that you won't always get the chance to say how you feel, so Jeffrey started talking to his parents again. Jeffrey felt guilty for Mr. Terupt because he was a part of antagonizing Peter. Luke. Luke is the brain of the classroom. He puts a lot of time, effort, and strategy into his schoolwork. He is the dollar word champ, as his sections often point out every dollar word that he uses. Luke is also the first student to visit Mr. Terupt. He realizes that Peter is the one he was angry at when he threw the snowball, and he also feels the guilt over Mr. Terupt. Peter. Peter is the class clown. He often opens his mouth without thinking first. Peter begins with a negative outlook towards a lot of his classmates and the students in the collaborative classroom. As time went on, his outlook changed. Eventually, Peter asks Mr. Terupt to invite James to their class party, and he catches Mr. Terupt wipe his eyes because he is touched by Peter's idea. Peter feels guilty because he is the one who threw the snowball, even though he didn't mean to throw it at Mr. Terupt. And Mrs. Williams. Mrs. Williams is the principal at Snow Hill School in Connecticut. Unfortunately, she slips and falls in Mr. Terupt's classroom because of the puddle that was formed from Peter and the water fountain. When the accident happened, Mrs. Williams stepped in for Mr. Terupt and took over his class. All right, so everything you need to know is in this study guide for your test. You will also need to know where the story takes place. The answer to that is right here, because if we look at Jessica, we know she's the new girl at Snow Hill School. She moved from California to Connecticut, so the story takes place in Connecticut. Okay, so I'm going to jump over to the test real quick. I'm not really going to go over any questions with you. I'm just going to show you how it's formatted. So here it is. This is your first page, all multiple choice. And then you go to the next. True or false. You can go to the next. And more multiple choice. And that's it. And then you're going to hit submit. So very easy. I will see you guys on Hangouts today. Remember, we are playing Quizlet Live to review for our test on Thursday. Try and make it as simple as possible. If you have any questions, let me know. My homeroom, I will see you at 10 o'clock. Mr. Cicconi's homeroom, I'll see you at 10:30. Bye, guys.